Alright, welcome back to the AI Research Roundup. I'm your host, Alex, and today we're diving into a recent post by Anthropic titled Evaluating Feature Steering, a case study in mitigating social biases, published October 25th, 2024. So this article explores feature steering in large language models, specifically Claude 3 Sonnet. The core idea is to tweak the model's internal state, based on interpretable features, to see if they can reduce biases without impacting performance. They tested this on 29 bias-related features using several social bias and capability benchmarks. Okay, so Figure 1 in this article by Anthropic highlights a sweet spot for feature steering. Basically, it shows that between steering factors of -5 and 5, model performance measured by MMLU accuracy isn't really affected. Interestingly, this sweet spot applies across all 29 bias-related features they tested, meaning they can tweak these features without hurting the model's overall capability, at least within that range. Okay, so Figure 2 in this post by Anthropic illustrates the on- and off-target effects of feature steering, specifically for gender bias awareness. The left panel shows that increasing the steering factor does boost gender bias, as expected. However, the right panel shows it also increases age bias, an unintended consequence, even within that -5 to 5 sweet spot for model performance we discussed earlier. So, well, it's not a simple one-to-one relationship between features and bias outcomes. Okay, so Figure 3 in this Anthropic article shows how steering different political ideology features affects the model's stance on abortion. Similar to the previous figures, it demonstrates this on-target effect. For example, boosting the pro-life feature increases anti-abortion responses. Well, it also shows how steering-related features, like left-wing ideologies or political neutrality, influences those same responses, sometimes in the opposite direction. So, Figure 4 in this Anthropic post shows how steering political ideology features impacts responses related to immigration. Like the previous examples, we see on- and off-target effects. Boosting the left-wing ideologies feature reduces anti-immigration responses, as expected. But, well, the pro-life/anti-abortion feature, surprisingly, has the biggest effect on immigration stance, even though it's not directly related to immigration topics. Okay, so this again highlights that unpredictable relationship between features and outputs. Okay, so Figure 5 in this article by Anthropic dives into the impact of steering neutrality and multiple perspectives features on 9 different bias categories from the barbecue dataset. It shows that increasing the steering factor for neutrality, that blue line, generally reduces bias across all 9 categories, which, well, supports their earlier finding about the effectiveness of that neutrality feature. The multiple perspectives feature, the orange line, shows less consistent and weaker impact. So, yeah, this really reinforces the idea that some features can be effective in mitigating bias across multiple dimensions. Alright, so this article by Anthropic wraps up their investigation into feature steering for bias mitigation in Claude 3 Sonnet. Well, the key takeaway is, feature steering can reduce bias, especially with features like neutrality, but it's a complex process. Unintended consequences, like off-target effects on other biases, are possible. So, yeah, more research is needed to refine this technique before widespread use. Okay, thanks for tuning in to the AI Research Roundup. This is Alex, signing off.